Now, that 11-day siege in Ruby Ridge, Idaho began when federal agents attempted to serve a warrant to Randy Weaver on felony weapons charges. Now, Weaver was an Army veteran turned survivalist and caught the attention of authorities for his connections to the Aryan nations. While serving the warrant, a shootout erupted between agents and members of the Weaver family, killing Weaver's 14-year-old son and a federal agent. Also during the siege, a FBI sniper shot and killed Weaver's wife, who was unarmed and carrying the couple's infant daughter. Weaver eventually surrendered to authorities and was acquitted by a jury on the felony weapons charges that started the siege in the first place.
Ruby Ridge, by the way, is seen as a success by the FBI.
Which is crazy.
Which is bananas.
Tell people if they don't know what Ruby Ridge was. Tell them the story behind it.
So Randy Weaver, a Green Beret from Vietnam, shacks up in rural Idaho, and he decides that he wants to have a life off-grid. And the FBI, doing an investigation with the ATF, finds out that he has some kind of gun issue. And they need to do an investigation, and they need to go on site. But this is almost, it's crazy because there's similarities with our situation. You find out the guy's background. Like if you're developing a target packet on a bad guy, you would want to know the guy's background, right? That's the first thing you do because you want to assess potential risk to force, and you want to mitigate risk overall. What's his background? Green Beret, Vietnam. Right? Then everybody gets all fucking crazy, right? They start going, oh, we need to find out more. So they do surveillance. They don't just do off-site surveillance. They don't do long-range surveillance. They get in ghillie suits and low crawl to his cabin, right, in ghillie suits. His son and his dog are out on the property because it's his property, and they discover these guys in ghillie suits. The son raises his rifle, shoots and kills one of the FBI guys, and the FBI guys kill his son. So what would you do if you own property in rural anywhere in America, you hear gunshots, and your son's dead, and you don't know what's going on? And it's a bunch of dudes in ghillie suits. So he winds up locking himself and barricading himself in the cabin, and then they deploy the FBI hostage rescue team, HRT. I actually interviewed one of the guys that was he was in the sniper site as a sniper for FBI HRT when this went down. So long story short, they kill his wife as well, shoot his wife.
While she was holding a baby.
While she was holding a baby. They think, talking to one of the snipers, they thought that he was charging them into their position, but he was fake charging. He was making like a gesture like he was charging. So they got panicky and they started breaking shots off at him. I don't know if they wounded him, maybe wounded him, but he gets back inside, and so they dump the next person they saw, which happened to be the wife. So they end up barricading the place even more, and his ex-commander is the one that basically does a call out and gets him to negotiate and then eventually gets him to surrender. So all this is said and done, the FBI is found in the wrong. They sue the FBI, they win. It's a insanely controversial topic, but if you look at the FBI, two of the successes, I mean, there was guys who got awards from the FBI on that mission.
Even though it was proven that they were in the wrong.
Yeah, even though it's proven they were in the wrong. Like Waco is a good example of it as well. But this is what I'm talking about. Like there's a breakdown between organizations in the government and their powers that be, and likely a tipping point of mistakes that cascaded into the catastrophe that it was. But that's the problem. I mean, we're seeing those things now. Like what I do with my business in a free society is none of your business. So if you are the director of the FBI and you know agents are probing into people's lives who happen to be veterans, happen to be minorities, like fit all your and they're up, those dudes need to be fired. And you need to make a statement to the public letting them know, hey, we're not around here. We don't want constitutional rights infringed upon.
There were damage control assessments that took place. And maybe we could say that the ship saw some hungry sharks swimming close by, and they decided that they would put a few tuna out there and see if they could satisfy them.
Who gave the approval?
The highest authority that I know of was Mr. Potts. I discussed the rules of engagement with him after I had been told under the circumstances into which they were drafted. I discussed them with him, and I don't know of anybody at a higher level who would have been aware of it. But I would have to assume they were.
To Senator Cole. Senator Thompson. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
On August 22nd, 1992, completely without warning of any kind, an FBI sniper shot and killed my wife, Vicki. He was using a .308 caliber sniper rifle with a specially weighted barrel and a 10-power scope. He was using match-grade ammunition. He had years of training to kill.
You know, most of our history, we didn't have those institutions. The FBI came in during the First World War, and interestingly enough, one thing that Woodrow Wilson did, he used the FBI to spy on American citizens and actually arrest them if they disagreed with his foreign policy about going to war in Europe. And isn't it interesting how recent they used it in the Vietnam era? Democrats used it there. Republicans used the FBI to spy on 100 different groups in this country, including the churches, who disagree with the policy in Central America. It almost looks like the FBI was designed to spy on Americans who might be disagreeing with policy, especially the foreign policy. So the FBI, although I don't think I could condemn everything they've ever done, because I'm sure some of the investigations and investigation of crime has been beneficial, but that could be accomplished through Justice Department within our states. We wouldn't reject that portion of it. I think the FBI has kept and continues to keep a lot of records on a lot of individuals. The CIA has only been here since 1947. Their record is lousy.